What up, everybody? Can everybody hear me right now? Let's see if I'm good on the set. Good up on the set. What's good, everybody? Big game, James. You know how I do. Want to jump on here right quick and have the Chido talk. Get ready to go to football practice. Hey, ho, there goes my guy, Flora Poirier, with the $2 holla. Y'all can get him donating, popping if you like. You know what I'm saying? Just donating, creating, and make the nation great over here. Appreciate you, Florida. Ain't talked to you in a while. Good to see you back in the feed. But like I said, I thought I'd throw a quick video about Chido, my thoughts about Chido before I head to football practice. We got that bang, and I'm really excited about it. Really excited about the defense this year. More and more, we're getting good players coming in, filling out. So this 145 team, which is going to be the 11 and 12-year-olds, which I'm going to be coaching this year. Just really excited about it being back in the fray. It's just got my juices flowing again. Um, 4 years out the game, I really just really retired really because my sons went and started playing high school ball. But now, my homie, I said, you know what, I want to coach football again, but something's gotta happen. Something's gotta tell me. And then my homie jumped in my inbox like, Jay, what's up? I'm back in. Let's do this. So let's go. You feel me? Let's go. Let's go make this great. Make sure you're checking out the scenes. I got the scenes up yesterday with some of the kids. I'm going to be showing the games this year. You're going to be seeing the live action Coach Jay coaching the football. I ain't scared if they score a touchdown on me, you're gonna see it. We shutting down people, which is gonna happen. You're gonna see it, so you're gonna be able to see the behind the scenes of everything that happens with that. So if you want to make the nation greater, continue to donate to Big Game James and donate for the cause for the Columbus Rams because we're really trying to continue to donate for more cleats, equipment, things of that nature. If you'd like to continue to do that, can make that popping as well. But let me just give a quick shout outs before we jump into this quick Cheeto talk before I head on out. But I appreciate everybody up in here. Thank you very much. Let me give a shout out. Let me switch it over to all my members so y'all can see it at the bottom. But what's good, Brandon Williams, the Ninja? What's up with you, big dog? Good to hear you. Glad you're doing your thing with school. T Smooth TV, love you, big dog. King Barris, Floyd Perry, yeah, you know how we do. David Jenkins, my dog. What's up with you, Ninja Nuts? Derek Clegg, Jim Laws. Let's go. Like and share this. Share this if you like, so we can have some good Cheeto talk. I appreciate all my members in the building. If you're trying to be a member, you can jump right in there too. Matter of fact, let me post this little link. So if you are trying to become a member, jump on board. We have a good time over here. What we're doing at the Big Game James thing. But give me a second while I go get this link, and then we'll jump in this Cheeto talk. How's everybody doing? What's up with you? How's everybody doing out there? First of all, how's everybody doing before I say anything else? Hope everybody's doing good. Life is treating you good. Got this COVID thing still going on, a lot of uncertainty. Hope everybody's being safe. I got a video that's coming out later. We're going to talk about some things with that, but hope everybody's being safe out there. Let's get this right here. So if you're trying to become a member, I have this link for you, and then we'll talk about Chido. What up? What up? Okay, let's go. Let's jump in here. First of all, this is the picture I love to see more of Chido doing right here. This is the picture I love to see Chido doing right here. Got that one interception, I think it was a couple years ago against the Giants. That's what I want to see from Chido. I don't ever think he's going to be that guy who is a ball hawk type guy, who's going to get the 5 to 7 interceptions, maybe not even make it be more in the 3 range, not even per year. It could be sporadic. I don't think he'd be a consistent guy that's just going to get you INTs, pluck him out the air. His ball awareness to me is 50-50. I listened to a video with Everson Walls, the great Everson Walls. I watched him play, and they're talking to him about Chido transition to safety. He says he didn't think he can do it because he's always been suspect about his ball awareness, which I can understand, because we too many times we've seen him, and I'm gonna show a quick clip of we've seen him trailing the ball, not looking, not turning his head, not always having the natural awareness to turn around as soon as the man gets past you, and not really being physical at the line for all his physical attributes. About 6 foot, 205 pounds, and he's chiseled. Sitting next to him, he's a chiseled guy, and he's a very athletic dude. Can play multiple positions. You would think that you would put more press on him and let him get his hands more on receivers, and you just weren't happening. But I got a video about that kind of maybe thinking that, you know, the reason why that he's not able to do that was because of the technique. We talked about Chris Richard, and I'm not blaming everything on him or why Cheeto is not doing this and doing that. But when he's coming to a DB's coach and saying, teach me this technique because we're not allowed to do this and I might need to do something, well, I'll let you hear it from the horse's mouth. But I mean, it's just kind of things that stick out to me, man. Yeah, I do believe it can be taught. I believe Ninja Nut says he's his own corner. I hear that as well. Cover three zone guy, but I believe he can play a press if you allow him to get physical. I don't know if he was allowed to get physical from what I've heard from these DB coaches that he wasn't allowed to do that. When you look at the guys as a whole, you didn't see a lot of hands on those guys that even when they did man press, you didn't see a lot of them. You see a lot of them just trying to trail the guy and kind of following after him. But yeah, man. Yeah, I appreciate that, Jim. You was killing me with them tags. You know what I'm saying? But I love you for life. But that's one of the things that kind of stood out to me is that even when they can't play man press, they weren't like getting their hands on them. And you really got to get your hands on the receiver. A receiver kind of knows you can't do that, and he's at the advantage. You've seen the video with Amari Cooper, right, where he says he loves setting up cornerbacks. He loves setting up guys where they feel like they can't do anything. If you got a corner sitting there telling you, I can't do this and do that because my coach is telling me, well, you're at a disadvantage already going against receivers. You feel what I'm saying? So let's just check out a few things right quick. Let's look at some stats on Chido. Like I said, first of all, you love them, man. I like Chido. I do. I like Chido. I can't even front. I don't hate on Chido. I just want him to do better because guess what? If he were to take the next step or the next leap in this defense, this makes this defense a whole lot better. So I want Chido to win. I don't want Chido to lose. I want Chido to win. You know what I'm saying? You see 70 total tackles. He's a pretty good tackler too. Rated high with the tackling. As you can see, the run defense 80.4. Pass rush, obviously, he didn't do a lot of blitzing. Coverage rate 70.5. As you can see, 70 total tackles, 9 assists. Did you see a lot of blitzes on him, which I'd love to see him coming in because I think he's good at that. He had 7 missed tackles on the year. The thing that's concerning that he only had the one INT and the passer rating against him is a 94.4, meaning you can complete a lot of balls on him. Obviously, you have Byron Jones on the opposite side. Byron Jones is a really good cornerback. He's not a slouch. He's not a bum. He's not this guy that people keep on saying he was trash just because he wasn't getting interceptions. You don't have to get interceptions every single year, like 5 to 7, to validate you being a good corner. Now, that says you're the upper echelon if you're the guy that goes gets it. But if you're still shutting down guys and you're going against the top receivers and you're limiting them to 2 to 3 catches a game, and these are top guys that they're going the ball to all the time, and you're limiting them in pass defense, whether it be either in zone or either in man. If you're limiting them in pass coverage, then yes, you're going to become a good corner. And I think that's what a Cheeto is. I don't think he's a guy that's going to get all kind of interceptions every single year. But if you watch him, he's a guy that is a sticky cover guy. He's a guy that will tackle you. He's not afraid of contact. He will stick his nose in there and he will tackle you. That and when you look at some plays, hopefully I'll be able to show a couple of them where he played against the Redskins. When he have things in front of him, he's able to make the stop, make the tackle efficiently because, like I said, he is a pretty physical guy. He doesn't shy away from the contact, so he will stick his nose in there. I think it was really just a lot of the teaching, and now you have an Al Harris. Let's see what Al Harris can do, and I think that's what they want to see they can do. No, maybe you put don't. I don't think you'll play him at full time of safety this year because you really need cornerback play this year, and you really want to see because all these guys are on your extending contracts, expiring contracts, and you want to see what you can have. But maybe sprinkle him in a little bit and see what he can do right there. These are some of his game by game stats. Yeah, Chidobe is definitely trade bait. I mean, you talk about a Jordan Lewis. I mean, you talk about guys that actually offer something in the secondary or even trade. Yes, he's definitely can be on the block to sit there and say that Chidobe Awuzie is not trade bait. Yeah, you can definitely put him out there if you want. Me personally, I really want to see Cheeto back on the team. I like Cheeto. I like his ability. I think he has something to offer to the team. I think he's just been a situation. He's a second round pick. I think he's just in a situation where maybe he hasn't had the best coaching as far as the technique wise the first 3 years. And like I said, Richard, we seen what he was saying that, but let me just show you this video because I'm going to show you a little bit of these game by game stats and I'm going to show you a couple games where you're like, well, this is why you treat Cheeto frustrates you. Then I'll show you a couple plays where just what you like about Chido. But there's a particular video I want to show you right quick. Brandon, you coming at me crazy. I don't even know that. I got to see these guys. That's real tough right now. Because you got to see, too many new bodies, man. The secondary is one of the most uncertain positions to me out there on the team. You got all these new guys that are going to be fighting positions. So for you to sit there and say who's the six, I'm sorry, I can't give you that one. This video because I want y'all to hear this. This is what the DB coach. And I got this recorded, and I was like sitting there thinking like, this I think really hindered Chido as well. I really do think this hindered Chido as well.
What do you think Dallas is still lacking at that cornerback position?
I don't even think it's a personnel deal, to be honest. I think I think
Dallas is still lacking at that cornerback position.
I don't even think it's a personnel deal, to be honest. I think I think it's the fact that you got to let guys kind of do what they can do. You know what I'm saying? So good example. I trained Chido. I trained I trained Byron. I trained Kayvon Frazier and some of the other guys as well. But the thing about it, what I noticed that in our off season, even like we was going over certain techniques and things of that sort, whatnot, they were only allowed to do one technique. You know what I'm saying? So, naturally, other people watch film as well. You know what I'm saying? So, it's like, one day we came into a training session and even Chido was like, hey, look, I need to know how to, kind of counter some of the releases that Amari Cooper is giving me, like at practice. And I said, okay, what kind of press techniques are you guys using? And he showed me. I said, okay, well, I would do this. He said, well, we can't necessarily do that. You know what I'm saying? I said, well, you're at a disadvantage. Because as soon as somebody see that, from a film scouting perspective, that this is only what you're doing, I mean, they're going to figure you out and it's going to be a problem. You know what I'm saying?
That's fascinating.
So, exactly. So
it was a unique, just for those who don't know, that's a unique Pete Carroll, Chris Richard, Gus Bradley created technique. It's called a kick step. And it's very much about letting a receiver guide you, and so just to give that the name, they call it the kick step.
Yeah, and the thing about it is that with the kick step, it kind of keeps you stationary a little bit. You got to keep in mind that somebody's coming at you, but you standing in place per se. They don't have to run. Receivers don't have to run into you. You know what I'm saying? They can go around you. They can move you a couple of times. You know what I'm saying? They can go left. They can go right. And then once a DB get deep, you know what I'm saying, on a wide release or wide inside release, well, now he's going to try to move and he's going to abandon that technique. Okay, well, with that said, then you can't go into, in my opinion, you can't go into a game or cover somebody, let's just say like somebody with exotic releases like Amari and Judy and Julio and Ridley and, Devontae Adams and guys like that. You have to have multiple ways to attack those guys. You know what I'm saying? So, if they allow those guys, to have multiple ways to defend guys, I think they'll be absolutely fine. They're great athletes. They're absolutely fine. But, when you pigeonhole them, I think that's the problem most of the end.
And so I think, hey ho, Floyd Perrier with another $2 holler. Hey, you can get them other donations popping, big dog. Let's get them popping though. Appreciate you, Floyd. But you see right there, just listening to that, and you heard what he said. You're going against Amari Cooper or Julio Jones. You're going against top receivers, top flight guys, and you're at a disadvantage, okay, because of the technique. And I feel like when we're talking about that, I think that's one of the issues that Chido may have had. You get what I'm saying? Because if a cornerback is coming up and saying, I need to try to do this to be able to counteract what he's doing off the line of scrimmage, um, that's telling me that you can't you cannot put your hands on the receiver. If you're playing pass coverage, you can't put your hands on the receiver, and the receiver kind of knows that. If the receiver knows that, he's going to do what he wants. I think that's what a lot of times you've seen Chido, Awuzie trailing in coverages. A lot of times when we've seen the ball, we've seen a lot of good ball placement from these quarterbacks, and they're like nailing it right on the money with Chido, and he's right there. I think if you can teach a different technique to him, I believe you can see better Chido Awuzie. I think you can see better Chido. And I feel like maybe he got really hurt by the coverage that Chris Richard was doing. And now you get a new coach who, this is last year as far as his deal, who can maybe possibly bring out the best in him. Like I said, you don't see a lot of bad Chido. You don't see him just getting murdered. Yes, he got picked on, but a lot of times he was right there. Okay, a lot of his time his coverage was right there. And then my biggest thing is when I heard this a while back, and I go back to seeing the coverages that he played, I feel like he was at a disadvantage, and you can't really blame him when he's at a disadvantage from the coaching when the coaching is not allowing you to do that. The lunatic. Who do I think would get an extension first, Chido or Woods? That's a good question right there. Um, I would like to say they're pushing for more Woods the extension right now, just because he plays the safety position. Chido plays corner, but that's tough. Me personally, I would like to see Chido get extended over Woods. I'm not hating on Woods or not. I was on the Woods train really hard, but if we're going to talk about a player who maybe has more upside with the coaching, I mean, I like Chido. I think a Chido can play a safety. I really do. Everson Walls said he didn't think he could because of the ball awareness, but I think he could, man. I think Chido can play some safety. I think with better coaching, he can be a better player. And I just don't want to give up on Chido. You know, I was frustrated with him with the plays, people catching balls on him. But a lot of times when I seen those plays, he was right there in the action. So if I would have my choice, I would go after Chido because I like Chido, and I mean, he's got great size, 6 foot, he's 202 pounds, he's running a 4.4 solid. I mean, he's a good tackler. I believe he wasn't a guy that was just getting murdered in coverage, and I believe he still has a little more upside. I don't think he's like a ball hawk, but I think if you really teach him really good technique and he becomes a really, really technical sound corner along with that athletic ability that he has, I think he can be a really, really good player. But let's see. This is some of the one of the bad things people get frustrated with Chido when you saw this. Too many times you saw this with Chido Awuzie. But once again, maybe it was you're not allowed to get your hands on him. Maybe it's a situation where you can't get your hands on him. I don't know. Uh, you know, from what I'm hearing from a lot of other people, and when we had IOC on there, it just seems like a lot of that was going on. But as you see right here, takes a little bit slow as far as the identification right here. No hands on the release right there. And then once again, we've seen a lot of Chido doing this. Trailing, this is where he got a pass interference call actually on this play. But this is where we've seen a lot of Chido. Seen a lot of that right here. We didn't like that. We've seen a lot of them trailing like that all year with plays. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I don't know if he's not allowed to put their hands on him, because if you see that again, he's not really been able to get his hands on him. So that's like a free release, and a guy that's free release and he's able to trail like that. I mean, he's going to seem like he's going to get you every time, no matter what the speed is. If you're playing that kind of press coverage, you got to be able to get the hands on him. So that's got to be happening. And with his physicality and his size, you should see a lot more of that from Chido. But too many times you've seen a lot of plays where he's trailing the play, not looking back, guys getting the ball. He's putting just sticking his hand out, And the guys are the quarterbacks that I seen Matt Ryan with Julio Jones with the balls going right in there. I mean, the passes are really good passes. His hand is right there, but he's not looking back. And you're just thinking if you had the ball awareness as soon as you turn around to look. But a lot of times he's already trailing, and when you're trailing, you get frantic and you don't want to get beat so bad, so you're grabbing or pulling so you can catch up, and you're not looking back because if you're looking back, it's slowing you down. You're keeping a good pace with the receiver. You can look back as soon as it turns around. That means that's where the ball and awareness comes in. That's where you talk about you like the Trevin Diggs because as soon as the man is coming out of his break, he's already looking at the receiver and turning and looking where that ball is at so he can try to get that ball and feel where the man is. A lot of times you see Chido, he doesn't have the ball awareness where you're talking about where the man comes off the ball. He's putting his hand near him and is already looking to see where the ball is at. He's already keeping his head straight and just staring at the receiver. And that's where you talk about ball awareness. That's why they like Diggs, because as soon as the ball is in there, Diggs is already looking for it. The ball is in the air with Chido. He's looking back at the last minute. If you can see this play, he's actually is looking back at the last minute. Let me see right here. But it's too late. You're trailing right here. You see right here. And they was taught not to turn their head. I mean, they was taught to just have that hand out. That's why they like the length. That's why they like the long receivers. I mean, you can see right here. I mean, his hand's still right there. I mean, he called it. I mean, they called it. I mean, that's still, I mean, when we look at, like I said, that's why I don't want to throw away a Chido because it's not like he was getting murdered in coverage. It's not like he was getting burnt and guys were just catching long touchdowns. Now, it was the play where he did get beat on the double move by Anderson from the Jets. We can look at that. Why? But I want to see some good on Chido because Chido, I like him. I think he's a good player, and I think he has something to offer. And I think if we continue to, Al Harris, I think will be good for him. Let me see something. Yeah, you feel me, Solomon? That's why we do the interviews, man. That's why we get those interviews. You feel me? Because we want to give you the truth. We don't want to just hear our opinions about it. We want to let you hear the actual guys that were there. There's Chido here. A lot of them played that cover, the single one, that single high, I'm sorry, and that 4-2-5 defense. We can see it right here. There's a couple times where we broke on some passes. As you can see here. Might have been a little bit of interference right there. But hey, I don't mind the little physicality, break up on the ball. Might have been a little interference right there. They didn't call it. Still, we got the incomplete. I like that. Still, we got the incomplete. I like that. Chido, he can do that for you. You know what I'm saying? He can do that for you. He can do some of them things for you. But I would love to see what he could do as far as let's see if he could blitz a little bit. Let's send him in the slot a little bit and attack some people in the slot. I would like to see some Chido do some of that. That would get me a little bit excited to see him move around and not pick. He played strictly on the left side. I mean, that was the majority of his snaps. Let's move him around. If we're going to talk about being a little bit creative on the defense, let's move him around a little bit and see what he can offer and see what he can do. What up, KMT? Let me show a couple plays from this Redskins game where it's tackling and you know he had a couple plays. Got the another play right here. Hey, oh, another $2 holler. Yeah, that camp is going to be crazy right here. Let's watch this play right here. It's Chido with the tight end right here. Another batted down ball. Good play. And let's I said they like to play that single high and play that 4-2-5. You got the linebacker. He's sliding down as a linebacker right here, shifting. But you see Chido still right here. He's looking after his tight end. But this is a good play by Chido. Everything keeps everything in front of him, which I like. I think you know the safety you have to have the awareness, but you have to be able to keep things in front of him. Things that are in front of him, it seems like he plays better. And right here, boom, makes the play. Good play, Chido. So, tackling. I don't think a Morris Kennedy starts. I think he's be a good backup role, but I don't think he starts. I think you have I think the best possibilities of starting this year, right out the gate, are going to be the Daryl Worley or the Chido, because I believe Chido is good enough talent to start, and I think Daryl Worley has started in this league. Now, see, Kennedy has started some games, but Worley has started a lot of games in this league, so I would think he'd get the first crack, and I think they would be looking at Diggs more than anything else, seeing what Diggs can really offer. Um, because I don't think a Diggs, unless he goes ridiculous in camp because he's had no kind of camp, I don't see him starting. But I can see a Morris Kennedy, and I can definitely see a Chidobe Awuzie starting, and those other guys kind of backing those guys up. Jordan Lewis, Anthony Brown in the slot, and then you see a Morris Kennedy backing up Awuzie, and then you see a Trevin Diggs and possibly Robinson. I don't really know. He's from Tulsa, played a lot of small competition, but they had high hopes for him. But we'll see what he does as well. I'm telling you, man, don't give up on Chido. Don't give up on Chido. And like I said, and you heard, and as I said before, you heard what um, you heard what oh, just threw me off. You heard what that DB's coach when I heard that DB's coach say that, and Cheeto really is talking to him about that. I just feel like he was a little more handcuffed than what was led on believing when we had George Iok on there. It really believed I really believe that kind of confirmed that he was really more handcuffed. I don't think he's a ball hawking type corner. I think with really good technique, he could be a really, really good corner. Um, where do I believe Reggie Robinson fits in? I like his skill set. I think he eventually could be transitioned in safety. I think that's what they really like about him because of his length and his ability to play all over. I think they looking at him as a project, especially not to throw him at the corner spot, but kind of look at him in maybe both ways. I think they're going to kind of just kind of float him around and see what kind of fits him best because they have enough guys at the cornerback position where they don't have to force a Robinson in there. They can kind of let pick and choose of where they can do with him. And I think that's one of the reasons why they got a lot of those veterans on those 1 year deals because they want to number one solidify where they don't just be stuck out there. And guess what? We can see let these young guys kind of come along and then kind of see who we want to go with after this. So everybody to me is on an interview. This is a straight interview for the secondary. And even Anthony Brown, even with that contract he just signed, he could get traded. He's not untradeable for real. So it could still happen. But I think the biggest thing is They want the Diggs to be the guy. They want the Robinson to eventually be the guy somewhere. But I believe there's still a future for Chidobe Awuzie if he continues to not be if he can stop being inconsistent. I think that's the thing that has hampered his um, his kind of his growth, his inconsistency. One year he's good, the next year the next year he's okay. So he's got to be consistent. And when you watch him, he's a player that you're like, damn, Chido. You don't ever just look at Chido and say, man, Chido's a bum. If you really just look at Chido and say, man, Chido's a bum, you don't know football. Chido's a good player, but he's been inconsistent. And once again, I just go back to too many things been said in the coaching. I want to see with some new coaching. I want to see what some Al Harris. I want to see what some Mike Nolan. I want to see what that kind of defense does for him. And I believe if you don't make it in this defense or you don't make it under the Al Harris, then I don't know if this is that means this might just who you are. But I still have hope for him, and I don't want to give up on that ability because when I watch Chido, I don't see a guy that's just getting destroyed in coverage. I see a guy who's right there, who's always in the hip, always sticking, good tackler, athletic, can play multiple positions, I believe, and can blitz, and is physical enough to do that. It's not scared, afraid to tackle, and that's what's big for a corner. A lot of these guys are suspect on the tackling. We talk about Diggs, and I love him, but he makes business decisions on that tackling where Cheeto will stick his head in there. He don't run from it. So I really like to see what they can do with, Savion Smith is also is a guy who's interested in the lunatic. He's about 6'2", 6'3". So there's a lot of tall guys on the team, but definitely believe there could be a spot for Chido. But let's see what this coaching does for him and beyond. But I'm gonna get up off here. Just want to give my quick thoughts on Chido. Corner or safety? Corner this year, I'd like to see them throw him in some safety spots, maybe some slot positions, maybe send him in on the blitz a little more, move Cheeto around, don't just keep him on the left side, and experiment because you don't have a solidified safety right now. You have one Ha Dix on a 1 year deal, Woods is on an expiring contract, Donovan Wilson, you don't know what you have in him. So you have a lot of positions up in the air in the safety spot. So it's not a bad thing, especially when it was being talked about in the air, to look at it. Don't just say, hey, we're going to put him at safety. I don't think they would do that anyway. But in some spots here and there, see how he looks and see how he can really handle it and see if that can be a position for him. So I think it's a flex position for Cheeto. I'd like to see him be able to be good in this defense because a good Chidobe Awuzie on the Cowboys makes the Cowboys that much better. And that's the truth. All right, so that's kind of my thing about that. So we'll talk soon. Check in tonight. Gonna have Nate Boyer with my guy, Boss Cowboy. He'll be on tonight with myself, Nate Boyer, who basically was with Colin Kaepernick. If you're a person that says you don't want to deal with political stuff or don't want to talk about the issues that are at hand, that is great. You don't have to attend this live feed if you don't feel, and it's not about us forcing any views on anybody. It's just open talk. It's just dialogue. It's just dialogue and dialect from people who actually were with Kaepernick and actually had good talks and about the things that are actually going on today. So that'll be on tonight on the platform. If you want to tune in, it'll be at about 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. Me, Boss Cowboys, and Nate Boyer, who actually was with Colin Kaepernick. And as I said before, we're just going to talk about issues, things that are going on, and just kind of get it, how things were detailed back when all that happened, and just kind of get his views. And I think I've never heard it from the person, and I'm interested to hear it myself. So I think it'll be a good talk and it'll be a good thing for people having openness of one mind. And I think that's always a good thing. So if you're interested in joining that feed later tonight, it'll be 9:30 Eastern Standard Time on my channel. We'll do our damn thing. And, like I said, if you don't want to deal with those type of issues or views or anything like that, by all means, do not jump in there. And, because we don't need the trolls in that particular feed. It'd be a lot of positivity, a lot of positive talk going on in the feed. We'll still be talking Cowboys football as it relates to Colin Kaepernick and just Colin football already. But just to be rare. So we'll see. But I'm about to get off of here. I'll talk to y'all. Got to get to practice, and I will talk to y'all hopefully tonight. Hopefully we'll see you in the feed tonight. Big Game James, thank you for tuning in. I'm out. Peace.